claim your inner wealth. Now, claim your inner wealth is really important, especially right now because of what's happening in the world. And there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of uncertainty about the future. And what I talked about in the previous videos is about value creation. And to be able to create value for other people, you first need to be able to see what value do you have within. There's a quote I like from one of my mentors, Roger Hamilton. He says, "Wealth is what you're left with when you lose all your money." Now, this is extremely irrelevant right now because with what's happening with the financial volatility and the crash of the money, a lot of people are going to lose their financial wealth. But if they attach only their wealth to their financial wealth, it's going to be tough and really hard for them in the next couple of years or maybe more. And so that's why I want you to really remember that wealth is what you're left with when you lose all your money. Because when you start from that belief or that assumption, that means you can always create value. You can always find a way to create value and add value to other people's life. And so more than ever, these ideas, this concept of wealth and inner wealth is more relevant. So the second step of the 5 steps to live your life on purpose is claim your inner wealth. So as I said before, we are all different. So it's not about being better than someone else. It's about being different and honoring that difference. Being different and being unique is better than anything else. If you start to compare yourself to other people, what you're doing is you're undermining yourself. You're undermining your confidence. You're undermining your self-belief because you're judging yourself and you're putting someone else on a pedestal. And so one of the biggest behavior that undermines self-belief and confidence is comparing yourself to other people. And so instead, what we want to do here in claiming your inner wealth, we want to focus on you. We want to focus on what makes you unique and different. What is the unique wealth? What is the unique value creation that you can bring to the world? Meaning that if you do that in the most effective and efficient way that is true to you, then there's no competition. You're just being you. So you don't have to try to be someone else. You don't have to think about how to change. You just have to be you. Now, claiming your inner wealth is important because once you start to become and behave in an authentic way, what you're going to find is that it's going to build inner certainty. You're going to build up the certainty of your value and your worth. Claiming your inner wealth is really important, for example, in business when you are doing transactions with clients or customers. Having that certainty of the value you can offer is going to be key in negotiating financial deals. Because if self-belief and self-confidence are being undermined, what's going to happen is you're going to shortchange yourself and you're going to not necessarily ask for the value you're worth. And so being able to develop that certainty of that inner wealth and that inner value and worth is really important to get paid for your fair value. It's really important for the cycle of fair exchange. And I talked about the previous video of the triangle of wealth, which is the money comes from, you create a value to someone and someone pays you back in the form of money. If you don't know your inner wealth, that means you have no clue of what value you can add to people's lives. Therefore, how can you hope to be getting paid, or how can you hope to build wealth? Because wealth is only a result of an exchange of transaction, exchange of value from one person to another. The other component also that is important about your inner wealth is certainty gives you trust in yourself. It gives you trust in the value you can provide to other people. It gives you confidence in your life, and it gives you a certain self-belief. In the previous workshop we ran, one of the biggest obstacles people find when they want to build their business is they're lacking self-belief and self-confidence. They're not sure that what they have, anybody's going to care. They're not sure of the value they can provide. They don't have clarity and certainty of their value proposition. And therefore, what happens is that they're not going out. They're not going to show their value in the world. So they're just shrinking. So claiming your inner wealth, whether you're in a job or whether you have your own business, this is really key to be able to provide first the best value you have to your customers or your clients, but also getting paid a fair share of the value you provide. And the more you build your self-belief and self-confidence and the certainty in the value you can offer, the higher your income will be. Because certainty rules. And so the more certainty you have about yourself, what you can give, what you can provide, whether it's in terms of ideas, in terms of solutions, in terms of services, in terms of products, the higher the certainty you have in those, the higher your income will be. So there is a little assessment for you to do also around that topic of inner wealth. And it's about how well do you know your worth. And this is in the manual in page 13. So again, when you do this assessment here, just score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And this is just a feedback. It's not like, oh, I get 20 and the other one get 40, or oh, I'm bad. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's not about comparing yourself. It's just for you to have a fair assessment of, okay, is there room for improvement? The truth is there's always room for improvement for self-worth and confidence and self-belief. This is a never-ending game. But it's important for you first to know, okay, where do I start? And what can I start to focus on to be able to bring my score a little bit higher? So there's a little exercise for you that you can do that we put in your manuals on pages 14 and 15. And this exercise is called Find Your Magic. As I said, we are all unique and different. And we all have something unique to contribute to the world. And the more clarity and the more certainty you get about that, the more you're going to be willing to express that through your values. And the more you're going to be willing to make that contribution, and as a result, get rewarded for making that contribution. And so I suggest you take your time to do this exercise and not rush it. It might seem very simple, there's 4 questions. However, the more you can answer those questions, the deeper you're going to be able to connect with your inner magic and your inner wealth. So take the time, you do the exercise, and then you might pause for 1 day or 2, and then you might come back and revisit the exercise. And potentially that is an exercise that is a never-ending exercise. But know that the more effort you're going to put into that exercise, the more clarity you're going to get from who you are and your identity, the more clarity you're going to get about your inner wealth. And as a byproduct of that, the more appreciation you will have for yourself, which is also a very important part of inner wealth. The more you are grateful for who you are, the way you are, as you are, not trying to change yourself, the more appreciation you're going to have for yourself and for your life. And the more appreciation you're going to have for the opportunities that may come around. Because even in times of uncertainty and volatility, there is always an opportunity. The clearer you are on what makes you unique and different, what is your unique competitive advantage, the more opportunities you are able to spot. And therefore, the more opportunities you are able to tap into. So really, I recommend you to take the time that you need to go through this exercise. Don't rush it. Take your time. Start, do it, then pause, then come back, revisit it. Whatever time you need to do it, it's really, really important. You might also, there's a question here is, what are the best compliments people have made about me? Well, if you're not sure, one way to do that is to ask the people directly and ask them, okay, what do you say about me? What is my best qualities? And so that's another way of getting external feedback. So this exercise provides you both internal feedback on your own, but you can also get external feedback from people around you. And sometimes we need external feedback because some of the things we do naturally, we take it for granted, and we don't necessarily see the value within that. And so in this time, connection is really important because connection is one way you're going to get feedback, external feedback. So again, take your time, go through this exercise, discuss with the people around you. That might give you new ideas what you can put into those boxes. But it's a really, really valuable exercise. Don't underestimate the simplicity of this exercise. There's only 4 questions. But the deeper you dig, the more you're going to be able to unlock the jewel within. Another way also that you can do is, which is a little take-home activity, is you can ask yourself, how do I touch the world? And how do you touch the world? It could be through your service, through your product, through your ideas. Maybe it's through your network, through your connections. Maybe it's through your humor. Maybe it's through your quirkiness. But somehow, because you're different and unique, you are already touching the world. And sometimes it's really important to pause and reflect and see, how do I do that? Very often we do things in a very automated way, a very automatic way, and we don't necessarily deconstruct what we're doing. And so if there's something that you know you're doing really well, maybe now is the time for you to slow down and deconstruct exactly how you do it. Because by deconstructing how you do it, you're going to unpack a lot more value out of that. So that's a question for you. Take the time again. Look at how do you currently touch the world and see whether the different ways you're touching the world, how can you unpack this further? Now, another important question is, who do I touch? We don't touch everyone, but we have certain people we touch. We have certain people that we care about most. It could be an industry. It could be a certain topic related. Now, who do I touch? There's also another dimension to that. So who do you touch directly? So who do you directly impact with the value you create? Whether it's your service, your product, your ideas, your work, your time, your energy, your effort. So that is the first layer, who do I touch, which is the direct layer. And then there's a second layer, which is the ripple effect. Who do I touch indirectly? Everybody is connected, and that's what we've seen right now with what's happening with the pandemic of the coronavirus. The spread is global. So everybody is interdependent, everybody is interconnected. And we are more connected than we think we were. And the scale of the pandemic is just showing that. It starts from one little place in China, and then now it's throughout the world, even in remote islands. So we really underestimate how much we are connected and how much people we can touch, how many people we can touch. And so the question for you is, who do I touch directly first? And then who do I touch indirectly to be able to see the ripple effect of the value you create in the world? It's about to be able to see the ripple effect of your inner wealth and really getting clear and certain that you are an important piece in the whole human tapestry. The reason you exist and the reason you are here is because you are making a unique contribution. And so getting clear on your inner wealth is allowing you to connect with that inner connection. So these are 2 activities that you can do at home. Again, take the time you need. There's no rush to do that. But the more in depth you're going to go through answering those questions, the more appreciation you're going to have for yourself, the more appreciation you're going to have for your life, and the more appreciation you're going to have for the people around you. So really important. And the quote that summarized the whole thing about claiming your inner wealth is, I like this quote from the French writer Marcel Proust. And he said, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And it's really about looking deeper in what we already have, what we already have access to. We don't need to go somewhere else. We don't need to become someone different. We don't need to stretch ourselves too far. If we first start to look at what we already have and magnify and amplify what we already have, we can make a big difference. So again, claiming your inner wealth is all about developing deeper self-awareness. It's about self-worth, building your self-worth. Has an impact first in the certainty and the value you're going to provide to other people. Has an impact also on your self-belief and your self-worth. Impact on your level of success, and most importantly, impact on your level of income and cash flow. And remember that this is a never-ending process. It's not like once you've done Find Your Magic and you filled up the whole 4 boxes of the exercise that you're done. No, you're not. We are constantly evolving and micro-evolving as individuals. And so there's always more to add to the list. There's always finer distinction. There's always more ways to look at how you do things, or how you communicate, or how you express yourself. So you don't get done. But it's a never-ending process, and the importance is really to enjoy the process of uncovering that, being able to see your progress, being able to see your evolution. That's really the key about building and claiming your inner wealth.